we talk about the integrated design project, which covers various fields of study in civil engineering programs. As you can see, the scope is very broad, and this is carried out in 2 semesters. This course is carried out in the final year of civil engineering program, which requires the students to apply all the engineering knowledge learned throughout the 4 years and put them into the applications. And this integrated design project, by nature, we are simulating the problems in the industry. We bring the problems from the industry and ask the students to work out the solutions. The outcome of the design and solutions will have to meet the requirements by the local authority as a part of the submissions to the local authorities in simulations. And then when it comes to the assessment, we are assessing toward the standards of the industry. That's why we invite the external examiner, normally practicing engineers in the industry, to evaluate the qualities of the works. As you can see, the amount of work is massive. Even though it is group work with the maximum numbers of 5 members in the group, the students will still need to invest a lot of time in order to complete these integrated design projects. In fact, this can be quite a challenging course. Most of the students are pressured, having no ideas where to start and what are the requirements. So before we enter the technical aspects of the integrated design project, maybe let us first talk about the recommendations to the students who are undertaking the integrated design project. First thing first, you will need to know what is the purpose of having this integrated design project. You can consider this as an induction for all the engineering students regarding the industrial practices before the students actually graduate. It gives the students an exposure and exclusive summary in terms of all the technical knowledge and practical skills gained through the 4-year studies. Your focus and the emphasis shall not be only passing the course, as you are now in the final year when you are taking the integrated design project. By now, you should have collected sufficient credit hours, where this credit hours is large enough to have little fluctuations in terms of your CGPA, no matter how do you score for the integrated design projects. Therefore, the scores for the integrated design project should not be your utmost concern. And normally for the project-based type of courses, normally the students will pass this course unless the quality of the work is extremely poor or the students do not submit or complete the work. Now you should look into this course in the more long-term prospects other than just passing the course for that particular semester. This by far will be the most practical course in the 4 years programs, and the entire course shall be supervised and guided by the practicing professional engineers and also the professional engineers. These are the lecturers who have industrial experiences, and there will be a lot of practical experiences that you cannot learn from the textbooks or references. And towards the final year already, the opportunity of learning from your lecturers will be quite limited. After graduations, everything it will be on your own. You will need to learn yourself in the industry. Might as well you learn it earlier while you are in the universities. Under the proper guidance of your supervisors, you prepare yourself with necessary skills and competency so that you can compete well when you are in the industry. This will be the first point, which is related to the learning attitudes while doing these integrated design projects. You will need to be proactive and take the leadership roles. Learn as much as you could. Gain as much knowledge as you could. Gather as much guidance as you have through the facilities of the universities, such as the standards, guidelines, and also learn as much as you could in terms of the practical experiences. Get your supervisor to share their practical experience and how they come up with the solutions. The emphasis here shouldn't be on the details, such as which equations to be used and so on so far, as all this you can learn from the textbooks, notes, and references. Now your emphasis, it will be the major things, the underlying concept, the critical thinking, the prospects and points of view, and certain working mechanism and governing principles when come to the solutions. You can also take this opportunity to practice your leadership skills, as you expect yourself going to be in the managerial roles. If you are ambitious enough, take this opportunity to equip yourself with leadership skills. Also, by now you are in the final years, you know your lecturers well. You also have good ability to communicate with your lecturers, and you have been very familiar with the facilities provided in your institutions. Now, if you can fully optimize whatever resources that you have, plus good coordinations with your group members and your friends, dealing with external peoples and also your lecturers, you learn to be a leader. So the main point here is for you to learn as much as you could based on whatever times that you have left with the universities. Second, for you to actively participate and learn from the others. The course here is by fundamental exposure to the students. If you could, you make sure you participate every stages of the project. Instead of subdividing your task, one person dealing specifically with one scope. If you do that, you only learn one single scope, not worth your time, and you have wasted your opportunities. If I were you, I would make sure I involve with every single aspect of the integrated design project. I might not be able to carry out all the work, but at least I learn from my friend and get to know the heads and tails. As for the detailed parts, this shall be carried out by the persons who are responsible with that particular scopes. And this requires a good chemistry among the group members, working together and willing to share the knowledge among each others. You will need to have good attitudes, build up the trust among your group members, and maintain high levels of professionalism. Take this as a practice. Definitely there will be some pressures, especially when the integrated design project is designed in the manner which is rather challenging for students. Learning the knowledge is one thing, putting them into the applications is another thing. Undergoing the industrial practice is another thing. Having them meeting the requirements of the local authorities as well as the industrial standards, it will be another thing. And you will be chasing against the time due to the vast amount of work to be carried out within this course, which at the same time you are also undertaking the final year projects and other final year courses. This is when you can build up your qualities and your professionalism. You will have to consider for the friendship and bond that you build among you and your friends. As by the time you enter into the industry, you will realize that the most truthful and loyal friends normally are those studying together with you in the universities. as there are normally no conflict of interest in the following stage of your life. This is about your attitude, your personal qualities, and your friendship. You can monitor yourself, always encourage yourself to have high levels of commitment and good qualities, maintain a good friendship and reputations, and then participate through the entire learning process. It will be quite pressure at the early stage, but as you go through the entire courses, you will be very proud and satisfied for having the ability to complete the impossible tasks. You will be amazed in terms of your achievement, and there will be a leap jump in terms of the technical knowledge and the practical skills that you gain after going through these integrated design projects. Next is about the technical knowledge, practical skills and inductions. I know most of the students in Malaysia are quite shy in asking questions, but now you are already in your final years and you have been assigned with the project, and the functions of your lecturers will be the supervisor. They are supposed to be ever ready, taking your questions and giving you guidance. If you want to maximize the learning experience as well as the knowledge and the skills that you can gain through this course, you will need to ask as many questions as you could. Learn as much as you can from your lecturers, especially those that you cannot possibly get through reading the textbooks, notes and references. The practical experience will be something valuable to you. Next is about the reflections of the knowledge learned and also the practical skills. This goes back to your thinking attitude. Whether your ultimate purpose is just to complete the work and get through with the course, looking for a fine grade, or you really want to learn something. Normally, students, after they completed the entire course here, they feel relief. They done the impossible task, and then that's it. If you would like to maximize your learning, you should have a reflections in terms of the knowledge and skills that you gain through the learning here. What are the mistakes? Where are the heads and tails? How different scope and aspect shall govern the followings? And this reflections is very important because within the semesters you are chasing against time. You don't have much time to settle down to find the heads and tails. Now within the semester, the emphasis it will be experienced through the entire process. After you have completed the entire process, you make sure all the heads and tails are fully acquired. Especially you want to know the linkage of different stages of the project, how the informations or specifications in one aspect governs the others. Where do you get this? Where do you get that? Where do you get the relevant requirements? What makes a good design or solutions? How can you make the work more effectively? What are the mistakes that you've done? And how can you do it better if you are given the second chance? There are so many things that you can reflect after going through this integrated design project. And you need to know that if you do this reflection immediately after going through the entire integrated design project, all the knowledge and the skills that you've learned, they are still fresh in your mind. You can gain the most out of it. You can do these reflections individually, or you can organize sections as the knowledge sharings among your friends, as your friends may have different experience and also mistakes that you do not experience with, or maybe the solutions given by your friends is different from yours. The problems and the conditions may also be different from yours. you want to gain the most out of this course. Next, you should pay more emphasis in terms of the linkage and the sequence instead of the details. More specifically, you need to know where are the heads, where are the tails. I would say that within the first 3 years, you build up the fundamentals, engineering knowledge, learn how to adopt equations, and then it will be only in the integrated design project you see the full pictures of all the works and responsibility of an engineer. If you would like to gain the most out of this course, get the linkage and the sequences well established and understood. You can remember this forever. Pay less attention on things that you can forget easily, such as the equations, calculation steps, and etc. All this you will not have any issue of getting the record after going through the references and notes. Now, normally the linkage and the sequences, as well as creative solutions, the requirement by the local authorities, which authorities deals with which item, and so on and so forth. These are the things that you cannot learn from the notes and references. Or you will also need to pay attention into how you deal with the lab tests and the studies, as those informations, data and results, they are used for certain purposes. They are interrelated, and you will have to get them sorted out. Knowing the procedures of the test is one thing. Now, having the ability to optimize the combinations of those tests in order to find answers to your engineering problems, it will be another thing. And then lastly, know the industrial practices and the requirements. You know that there will be a lot of guidelines from the local authorities and departments. Having all this, there shall be standards and guidelines for EIA. There will also be a lot of standards for the soil investigations, field tests, lab tests. There will also be guidelines for the submissions of the engineering plan, structural plan, water reticulation plans, and so on and so forth. As you're going to deal with different local authorities, you will need to know their functions. Where are the focus of their checking? What are the expectations and requirements? And also produce your reports, drawings, and technical specifications with reference to the industrial works. There must be the purposes of having those specifications disclosed in those documents. You need to know why. Which information should go to which document, how they effectively present those informations, how to make them easy to read, easily comprehensible, and so on and so forth. So if you see the list of the recommendation here, all these are built on basis of one important principles. You want to learn as much as you could. Now, the focus of the learning, it should not be something that you can easily acquire from the references, or something that you can easily forget within the next few months. You want to get the entire process digested so that there are certain knowledge, especially the practical experiences, the linkage, the sequences, the governing principles, that will still be in your mind for the next 10 years. At the same time, you will have to take this opportunity to polish yourself with good attitude, personal quality, and also maintain a good friendships among your friends. You never know. One day you will need to consult them on the technical part. Remember to keep them in touch. Most likely your friend will not be working under the same company as yours, but they will be working within the same fields as yours. you will have your practical experience. At the same time, your friends are also building up their practical experience. Now, when you encounter problems, when you have nobody to guide you and to teach you, you can always seek advice and assistance from your friends. At least this is what I observe among my ex-classmates. And you will realize that after you enter the working industry, that you have been working for so many years, you treasure the moments studying together with your friends. Remember to keep them in touch. And because you have no conflict of interest with them, they are more than happy to share their knowledge when you encounter problems in your future works. Of course, you can still keep in touch with your lecturers. Once a while, go back to your university, pay your lecturer a visit. Your lecturer will be more than happy to receive you, to know your latest status, and to see you success in your following life. Instead of having yourself feeling so pressure with the integrated design project, if you transform your mentality, consider this as the last opportunity that you can get the most out of the civil engineering program, based on whatever resources that you have, on the basis that you have already been quite familiar with the facilities in the universities, the peoples around you, the lecturers. You can actually maximize what you can acquire through this course. And this learning process can be very joyful. You know that ultimately the final grade will not be significantly influencing your CGPA. And your CGPA, the only function here is for you to get yourself employed immediately after you have graduated. Now, when you are working in the industry, after several years, the industrial peoples do not look into your CGPA. They are not as important as you think after all. After that, your employers will be more concerned with your technical experience. That's why you see the advertisements for recruitment. Normally, they specify the numbers of years of working experience. Very seldom they specify the CGPA that you acquire in your university. Think about it. You should pay emphasis and attentions onto something that can give you long-term benefit, and the value should be more long-lasting. Now, putting your emphasis right will help you to maximize your gain through these integrated design projects.